Hello, and hello. It's Tuesday, 7:45, and I just wanted to drop in here and say hello. Hi to those of you joining. We're just going to give it a second for a couple more people to jump in here and join us. Hello, thanks for coming. I see you. Linz and Sam. Yay, I hope you stay and I hope you enjoy this practice tonight. I'm so happy to be able to offer this and do this. I just got off my first class of the 8-week Mindful Self-Compassion course that I was just teaching, and we're doing it online this round, and so I just finished 2.5 hours learning with people from all over. It was just really, really great. We've got people from Ontario and Alberta and up and down the island and from Vancouver. So all of you people from coming in and joining and sharing, I'm just so grateful that we're starting to see compassion spreading across Canada, and for our teachers and educators who need it so much. So I'm going to start loving these Tuesdays. I know I was really nervous before, but I'm really excited. Tanya, I see you. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for joining. Welcome everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Live with Lisa. I don't know. I still haven't come up with the name yet, but somebody said that sounded cute. So we're going to work with it. I am thrilled to be back here with you this Tuesday evening. Especially to talk a little bit about something that I really struggled with this weekend. So I had the privilege to go and do some work this weekend. I've been working on a book that I've been writing, a book around self-compassion and mindfulness for educators that I'm really excited to get out into the world. And so I took some time to work on it and had to go back to my manuscript and the draft, and I had to do some edits, and oh, that was hard. It's really hard to have to go over and do things that are difficult. And so this weekend I really noticed that a lot of personal judgments were coming up, and my inner critic was fierce. Man, that girl had a lot to say about how things were hard. And so I thought perhaps we could do a practice today that got us to quiet our inner critic a little bit. So if yours is noisy like mine, and I know many of the teachers that I work with are saying this, they're saying it's just so hard during these new ways of being and blended learning and learning online and trying to figure everything out. It's just having to really manage that judgments and the criticism that's coming up, because our brain is just really sitting in a stress mode a lot. And so thanks for joining me tonight, and I just hope that you can enjoy this mindfulness practice. We'll just jump in and have a little bit of time to practice together. I'm going to keep my eyes open so I can be aware and present here, but if it feels right and comfortable for you to close your eyes, then I invite you to find a really lovely and comfortable posture. You can close your eyes if that feels right, or you can lower your gaze, or you can keep them open and just be aware of the room that you're in. I invite you to just notice the physical sensations of beginning to breathe in, paying attention to that, and the sensations of what it feels like to breathe out. Just the best that you're able to, just noticing that sensation of breathing in and out, the rhythms of your body. And as you settle into a posture of ease, but also strength, just coming in towards yourself, I invite you to, however you're feeling right now, just leave whatever you don't need behind for a few moments. Let's just be here together. And when your attention wanders off, as it does, as it always has this mind of busy thoughts and thinking and going, then just come on back to finding that rhythm of your breathing, or paying attention to my voice, or just joining in here and being just for a moment still in your body. For many of us, just even doing this might already be enough, where judgments start to come up and criticism comes up. Oh, you start to notice your busy mind, or you start to think, oh, I should be doing this more often. We're really good at putting the shoulds on ourselves, or negating how we're not very good at things. But for this just brief practice today, I invite you just to reflect on what it's like to be judgmental, towards yourself, what it's like to criticize yourself. Maybe noticing where that comes up more for you if you're sitting here. Do you notice it more when you're at work or in school, in your classroom, within your colleagues, with your students? Notice also how when we start to pay attention to judgment, it's often more than just a single thought. It may affect how you feel in your body. We might notice more tension or distress or unease. That's coming up for you right now. I invite you just to see if there's a way you can soften and be with yourself, being gentle to all parts of your body. You may notice when we start to pay attention to the critic, the inner critic, the judgments we notice an emotional distress, maybe an anger, a resentment, just sort of frustration starts to come up. Is there a little bit of space for that tonight? And just notice where your thoughts go when you're experiencing them. Just notice your self-criticism when it comes up and the patterns that you fall into as you are paying attention to that inner critic that comes up. So tonight we're just taking a few moments to quiet the inner critic within us. Just becoming aware of it a little bit more, noticing how often we have judgments towards ourselves, towards the parts of our life and our practice. And if we can, for the next few minutes, see if we can practice leaving that voice of judgment and that inner critic alone for a little bit. Seeing if there's a way that we can stop wrestling with it or appeasing it or pushing it away. But instead, what would it be like to just label it, to notice it, to recognize what it feels like when it arrives here in your body, in your thoughts, in your feelings. And then just let it be. As I was saying earlier this weekend, for me, my inner critic, she was loud as I was doing my work. And so sometimes we need to find a name for that critic, finding a way to experience it without over-identifying with it or connecting to it, but instead just acknowledging that that voice is just there right now. And we don't always have to attend to it. We don't have to acknowledge every thought we have. Not everything we think is true. And in fact, what we want to do right now is just an invitation to just notice. Just notice that there's nothing to fix or change what's going on within you. And as you inhale, just noticing that, bringing that awareness in. And on each breath out, seeing if there's a way to offer a bit of relief, a bit of ease, a bit of gentleness. Perhaps even offering yourself some phrases that you might say to a dear friend who would be struggling in the same situation. When your best loved one is being hard or critical on themselves, what are the words you gift to them? What gentle and caring and loving words can you remind them that they are worthy and perfect just as they are? And then can you offer those back to yourself just at this moment, letting your heart warm just a little bit. Again, breathing in awareness. This is what it feels like to be a human being who has an inner critic who sometimes is loud and furious and is intense. But breathing out, releasing a little bit of that, and wishing yourself perhaps something different, strength or humor or joy, or anything else that might be appropriate for this moment. when we can meet our inner critic with a bit of playfulness or even a bit of humor. Ooh, there you are back, honey. I hear you. And then we can exhale ease into knowing that just because we think it doesn't mean it's true. And then an opportunity to just attend to it with warmth and gentleness. And knowing that we all have a voice in us that sometimes is critical or judgmental towards ourselves, towards others. And that the first thing that we can offer ourselves is a noticing, is an awareness that this is hard and this is difficult. But we don't have to stick with it. And we can also allow ourselves to meet that with whatever it is it needs. I love humor. I love to bring in a little bit of a, whoo, this is hard. This is hard. You think you're going to get me. What words do you need to offer yourself right now? And then I invite you to wish yourself well, just a little bit of kindness. Not because you deserve it more than anyone else, but just because you deserve it as much as anybody else. And the work we do is difficult as educators. And when it gets to a point where we feel a little bit numb from the harsh inner critic, the judgments, I invite you to remind yourself that you don't always have to listen to everything you think. And that when it comes up, when we notice it and name it, hello, inner critic, you're back. And then with our out breath, we can invite ease and exhale and let it out. Then perhaps we can meet it with a little bit more ease. And just turn it down just a little bit. And so in maybe another breath or two, just finding that lovely, nourishing breath that will fill you up with everything that you might need in this moment. And then with an exhale, finding a sense of ease and comfort. And just reminding yourself that you are just as you are meant to be in this moment. And that I am so grateful you decided to join me just for these few moments. May you head into this next week with peace and ease, and may you find that breath that quiets that inner critic. And I hope you'll join me back here next week, because I'm just having a lot of fun showing up and connecting and giving you a little bit of practices that hopefully you can use as you go through this week. Turn that dial down of that inner critic and remind yourself that you are worthy of all kinds of wonderful things. And I look forward to continuing to practice with you next week. I see you there, friend. Thank you. Have a lovely week, everybody. Blessings from me and to you, and may you find the light that you need. I really appreciate you showing up tonight. Thank you. You're welcome. And we'll see you here next week, same place, same time. You're welcome. Let's take 15 minutes every Tuesday to just have a little chat and to go live and to have a practice. I hope it helped. Sending you love too. Bye, everybody.